month's flow is one that is grounding. So if you can remember, I only did like maybe 2 or 3 posts on this, but the holiday blues or preparing for the holiday season and what that looks like for different people for different reasons. But whatever the situation is for you, and maybe why you maybe not, be experiencing the holiday blues is because of lack of groundedness. Lots of movements happening, lots of traveling. Our finances may not be where we want them to be. Maybe loved ones have passed away during a particular time, and the holidays reminds you of that. So this flow is for anyone that is needing some grounding for the holiday season, so November, December, going into January. So yeah, we're gonna start off with something called Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana is alternate nostril breathing. So I like to do this. We're gonna plug one side of our nostril, inhale, hold, open up the opposite side, exhale. So again, this side is plugged, inhaling, closing, exhaling. So you might find that you might need to blow your nose during Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing. So if you're watching and following along, you can always pause, grab some tissues, and then continue on with our exercise or our flow. So I'm sitting on blocks. You can be sitting on your couch when you do this. You can be sitting in a chair. You can be sitting directly on the ground. It's going to remove these blocks. It's starting to get uncomfortable. And we're going to get into it. So our flow might be a little abbreviated. It might not. I'm not quite sure how I want to do this yet. We'll come into a comfortable seated position with our legs crossed or seated straight in front of us. And we're going to begin our Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing. Okay. So plugging our nose, inhaling, plugging, exhaling. Our last one. We're gonna take our head. We're gonna do some neck rolls here. So slowly going from one side and taking your time with it, of course. Going to the opposite direction. Releasing any tension we might have built up throughout the day. Maybe we're on our computers a lot. We've been driving a lot. Going to the opposite direction. Next, we're going to get into some shoulder rolls. So staying in our seated position, rolling our shoulders forward. Again, you can follow the flow of your own breath here. Inhaling as you rotate up, exhaling as you rotate down. And we're going to stop and go in the opposite direction. Next, we're going to inhale, one arm up, the opposite hand is going to come behind us, inhaling up and bending over into our side bends, releasing again more tension in our shoulders, our side body here, and then we're going to flow with it, so placing our opposite hand down, reaching over. And if you'd like a deeper stretch, placing your forearm on your mat or ground and just hanging out here. Come back to center, switch to the opposite side. And then one more time, switching sides, coming up and over. We'll come back to center, kind of twist things out, move how we need to move, rock side to side if you need to. If your legs are crossed, you can switch feet. I'm like thinking about which one I use. All right. So now we're gonna get into a side twist. So inhaling, opposite arm, or one hand behind us, one hand comes on top of our knee, lengthening our spine, twisting. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. We'll release and come back to the opposite side. So what we do on one side, we should do to the other. And really feel any tension you might have built up in your lower back, maybe underneath your shoulder blades. Take nice deep breaths here. Coming back to center. Do it one more time on each side, reaching our hand behind us, getting a nice firm foundation, and twisting. Back to center one more time. Shake things out if you need to. Twist and twist. And we'll come back to center one more time. We're coming back to center a lot. We're just set up for a cat-cow. And if you don't already know, cat-cow is one of my favorites because it allows you, at least for me, allows me to come back and rest, like an active rest. So if you're unfamiliar with cat-cow, we're coming into tabletop position, leaving our toes flat, or we're curling them underneath us. It's whatever your preference is. I'm gonna leave mine flat. Leaving your knees about hips width distance apart. Same with your shoulders. We're gonna inhale, arch our back. This is our cat. Exhale, push our booties out, hips out. This is our cow. So following with your own breath, you can do a fast cat-cow or a slow one. All up to you on how you want to do it. And if you want to, you can add more movement. So rock forward and back. Coming out. Rock side to side. Our last one. Coming back to a neutral spine. We're gonna thread our needle. I'm honestly not sure what the name of this would be in Sanskrit, but I think the common term is threading the needle. So we're gonna inhale our arms up, our arm up. Exhale, come through. Allow your ear to touch the mat, your hands to stretch in opposite directions. You're getting a nice deep stretch here. We'll push ourselves up. Do one more cat-cow. And then we'll do it opposite direction. So inhaling our arm up. Reaching over. Threading ourselves through. Allowing your ear to touch the mat. Or the ground. And reaching in the opposite direction. Taking our top hand, pushing ourselves up, allowing our hands to be back in tabletop position. Again, if you want to, you can take another cat-cow. You can take some circles in either direction, just to loosen your joints up. And we're gonna set up for our puppy pose. So how we like to cue, or how I like to cue, and place your forearms on the mat. And if you have blocks, feel free, place them on your blocks, and then allow your head to touch the mat while poking your booty in the air. So this is our puppy pose. And if you need to, you can come out, take a wider stance, reach even further. last breath or inhale or exhale. We'll come back, gently pushing ourselves back into tabletop position. And we're going to actually extend ourselves out, lay on our bellies, setting up for Sphinx pose, laying our feet flat or on the tops of our mats, and then hanging out here. So if you want to engage, you'd squeeze your legs together, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your quads, your hamstrings, and then try to squeeze your shoulder blades. This is a more active pose. If you just want to relax, then don't squeeze anything. Hang out. From here, we're gonna get into what we call a cat-tail pose. So we'll stay in this position. The only thing that we're gonna do is scooch our leg up and open. We get a nice 90-degree angle, or wherever you land. I know that not all of us have the mobility in our hips, at least not yet. So inch up to where it's comfortable for you, and we're just gonna hang out and breathe. So this is a modification to frog pose, which is definitely more aggressive. You're doing both of your legs pretty much at the same time. This one will at least allow you to kind of feel it out. So if you want to, you can lean closer to your leg that's bent, get a deeper stretch here. You can come further away to see how it feels. You can even lay down and rest in this pose. It's all up to you. And when we're ready, we'll lengthen our leg and then do the opposite side. So here, if you're wanting it to be a little more engaging, you can squeeze the leg that's extended, squeeze your glute, take a little bit of a wider stance with your arms, try to roll your shoulders down and back, actively pushing your hands or your L's into the ground or the mat for stability. And when you're ready, we'll release. And we're going to come kind of into like a relaxing lounging position. Grab our ankle, the top of our toes, and kind of squeeze them to our bottoms. So a modification for this pose, if you're not able to freely just pull your foot to your glute, you can grab a strap. It might be a little more complicated, but you can grab a strap, loop it around with one hand, and then pull it towards you. It'll be a lot harder if you're trying to use both of your hands. Another modification is just laying flat onto your belly and then pulling your leg back this way. We're gonna switch sides. and release back down. We're going to push ourselves back into tabletop position, but we're going to prep ourselves for a child's pose. So widening your arm stance, pushing ourselves down and back, and hanging out here. From our child's pose, we're going to push ourselves again back into tabletop position, where tabletop is our default pose for this flow. Adding more challenge into our flow, we're going to tuck our toes underneath us, tighten our core, relax our shoulders, not be how I was all hunched up. So relax your shoulders if you're in my position. Tuck your toes, inhale, float your knees up. So this is our challenge. Strengthening our abdominals, strengthening our legs, our feet muscles, our arm muscles, our hands. Releasing back down, and take a break. Move how you need to move. And then we'll get back into it. Tucking our toes underneath us for more stability. Inhaling, floating our knees up. Really making sure that we're squeezing our abs together. Pushing into the outside blades of our fingers. And we'll come back down. And that is our last one. Move how you need to move. Our next pose, we're gonna flip the orientation of our hands so they can be facing our knees, or our fingers, I should say. Walking your knees a little bit closer. And this is it. This is our stretch. If you need to, or if you'd like to, you can come further back for a deeper stretch in your forearm, or you can lean forward. The goal is to try not to hyperextend, so you can see that my arms are very straight, so keeping a slight bend in our arms to prevent injury. This is a nice deep stretch for everyone. We tend to really forget about the importance of our hands. We talk about our feet, we might talk about our knees, our hips, but we never talk about our wrists and our hands. I think I'm gonna make a series on that. When you're ready, we'll gently release into our normal or our used to orientation, our fingers facing in front of us. And we're gonna set up for another child's pose. Coming down, this time we're gonna allow our heads, we're allowed to, or if your body allows you to touch the mat. I need to create more space, so I'll open up my knees, come down, and then float my arms back. And when you're ready, if you'd like to, you can stay in this position for your meditation, or you can easily just come onto your back into corpse pose. Some people say Savasana. We'll take a few breaths together. I like to place my hand on my belly, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. I did mine through the nose. Try not to like breathe too hard into the mic. And when you're ready, you can wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and like shake out your legs and your arms. Roll over to one side of your choice. Allow your top hand to push yourself up. And then we say, Namaste, Ashe, peace be unto you. Thanks for practicing. I hope that this flow was helpful for you at this moment and helpful for you if you decide to come back to it and practice throughout the month of November.